Hello and welcome to my YouTube series Increase Your Research Impact. In this episode I will discuss why you would use social media in academia.
The next part we'll be talking about the role of social media in academia in general. This is kind of the list that most people will come up with. Researcher profiles in various shapes and forms, Facebook, LinkedIn, ResearchGate and other platforms to upload your papers, SlideShare and YouTube, Twitter and blogging. The ones in red are the ones that we'll discuss in this presentation. It doesn't mean that the others are not important, but it just means that I think these are the ones that are probably most beneficial to the largest majority of academics. Why would you use social media? Lots of different reasons, and there might be even more than I list here, but at least 4 key ones. First of all, to publicize your work and to generate impact, as we've talked about earlier, but also to build your network and to collaborate, to ensure public engagement, but also to simply stay current in the field. And that's one of the uses of Twitter that has actually most surprised me, because I get a lot of news through Twitter these days. But there's also good reason to not use social media. Well, good reasons I'm not sure, but there are reasons to not use it. And that is, first of all, you don't know what to do, how to do it, you're unsure whether you will do it effectively, so you're basically insecure about your skills. A lot of people say, I don't have enough time. They use social media in a private context and they know it's a big time waste. But I think it is possible to do this effectively and to actually set some time aside, maybe once a week, once a month, or use what we call dead time to engage in social media. This morning, when I was waiting on the platform for the train to come, I looked at my Twitter account, I responded to a few tweets, retweeted some tweets, and I checked up on how my recent blog post that I put on today, which is actually a guest blog post by Nico, had been doing, and it's been doing quite well. If we have some time, we'll look at it. So these are times where you probably wouldn't be doing anything else, maybe kind of look in the distance or read the newspaper. You can also kind of update your Twitter account or look at the news. Other people say, I'm kind of concerned that if I do this professionally, I'm blurring identities because I'm also sharing and retweeting stuff that's more personal. I think that's a valid concern, but it basically means that you need to decide in advance what kind of identity you want to build up on a particular social media platform. If you have a LinkedIn account, that will probably be pretty professional most of the time. Twitter lends itself for both professional and private use. So if you're really keen on Twitter and you'd like to kind of share a lot of cat videos, I'm using this example because it seems to be the most popular thing shared on social media, then maybe it's a good idea to have a separate private Twitter account and then have a professional Twitter account. You can open as many as you want with different handles, different usernames. Other people say, well, actually, I haven't published that much, I haven't done that much research, I'm a junior academic, I don't have much to say. Doesn't matter, because you can also just listen and listen to what other people share on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on their blogs, and you can respond to that and in that way engage. And then once you have published your first paper, you know what kind of interaction goes on these fora. So you actually know the language to use, you know the academic etiquette around what you do and what you don't do on these various social media platforms. The most kind of frequent thing I hear from people is like, it's just not me. This is not something that I feel comfortable with, without being very articulate. It's just like, no. And when they say this, it's usually one of two things. They feel uncomfortable about publishing their own work. They feel it's kind of a bit vulgar to do this. But remember, publicizing your own work is not like continuous, untargeted, aggressive, like, look what I've published today, look what I've published the next day, look, I've got another citation, look, I've got another mention. You can do that, and absolutely I know some people who do that. But they generally fall under the category of one of my latest blogs, how to publicize your work without being obnoxious, and they fall in the obnoxious category. People pretty soon stop following or listening to these people, because I'm not interested in someone who only ever tells me that they've published something new or that they have a new achievement. I'm interested in people who actually share useful information. So publicizing your work is simply seeking to ensure that those people who might be interested in it know about it. It's not about kind of boosting your own ego all the time and thumping yourself like, oh, look at how good I am. The other one is about networking. And I don't know about you, and I don't know about your upbringing or native languages, but in Dutch, networking was always seen as something a bit dirty. If my father would talk about networking, he would always use it in a context of someone getting something just through that context, not because they were any good, not because they had the right qualifications. And that's kind of the image I had of networking when I came into the academic world. Of course, again, there is a bit of that. Some people are not great academics, but they still manage to get what they want through networking. But networking can also be used in a positive way. It can be simply used to cultivate connections with others who share the same interests. And I think that's the way we're talking about today. Okay, so that's social media in general.
Want to know more about this? Read this blog post on the topic. Just Google it and you'll find it easily. In the next episode, I will discuss the 8 steps that you can take to ensure your papers achieve the impact they deserve. Hope you will join me.